I'd like to first welcome everyone and say thank you for taking time out of your day to participate in this event titled Reporting to Get BPA Sales. This training session is geared toward contractors that currently have a monthly sales reporting MAS contract. So this training will focus on the FAS sales reporting portal file upload feature to report to get sales on a monthly basis using the provided upload template. So this is our final session. If you were with us on Tuesday, we hosted a monthly sales reporting session on Tuesday as well. Today will be a repeat of that session. We'll be covering the same information. Today's training is being recorded, which includes the chat messages and the Q&A questions as well. If you're uncomfortable with that, feel free to drop off and you can watch the recording at a later time once we post it onto the website. Speaking of chat and Q&A, along the bottom of your screen, you'll see the chat and the Q&A functions. So my one ask of everyone is that if you do have a question that you'd like to ask the panel, please use the Q&A function. If you put it into the chat, we might overlook it, and it definitely doesn't get recorded in the same way with the Zoom technology. So putting it into the Q&A ensures that it gets noticed and ensures that it will get addressed after the fact as well. One last note, like I already mentioned, this is a duplicate of our Tuesday session. So if you've attended Tuesday, you're welcome to stay here and participate again, but just know that this will be a duplicate session. All right, that's enough for me. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Derek Tribble.
Hey, thanks, Robin. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thanks. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. As Robin said, this is the second of two sessions in regards to monthly parent MAS contracts and how they're going to, I don't know, I guess coincide, exist, live with your new to get BPA contract when it comes to the FAS sales reporting portal. Again, my name is Derek Tribble. I'm the business owner for the FAS SRP, and along with me today is Don Marcus. He's the program manager, and Don will be doing the demonstration later on, walking you through some of the screens inside of the system. So with that, what are we going to cover today? A lot of overarching FAS SRP guidance, just some of the things we learned over the years that bears repeating. We're going to talk about the to get BPA file upload sales reporting. We're going to do a demonstration where Don's going to go in and show you how to report zero sales, how to actually do a file upload with your template, how to combine your monthly parent MAS contract with your to get BPA contract and report both at the same time. Then we're going to talk about some sales adjustments and cover a few items in regards to IFF payment process. So with that, I'm going to jump in and get started with this. And I'm going to cover this slide, then I'm going to talk about something at the very end of it. So you can have multiple POCs on your contract. So make sure we're aware of that. You can have more than one person on there, kind of like your MAS contract is right now, your parent contract. You must be listed on the contract to gain access to it inside the FAS SRP. So that means that if you're on your parent contract, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see your to get BPA. You have to be listed on that contract because it is a standalone contract. Authentication is based on email address accuracy. So if your email address isn't accurate, doesn't matter what your name shows in the system. It's not going to populate. You're not going to be able to see that contract if your email is inaccurate on it. Parent contracts are, in your case, are all reporting monthly because that's what this session is for. Parent contracts are the monthly TDR reporting contracts. Both contracts will display inside of the SRP under your one login as long as you're listed on both contracts. So you don't have to have two separate logins. And that's kind of brings me to what I want to talk about. So we did the first session Tuesday. Probably the biggest piece of information we learned from that is a lot of the people that need to be on the to get BPA contracts are not loaded on those contracts. So at the end of this, we're gonna talk about that a little bit. There's an email address on there where you can send this information over to, and then we can work to get that email address and that person populated on your to get contract so that you can see that. But we'll talk about that later, probably in the last slide when we go over the FAS SRP email address and reach out touch points. We'll talk about it then. Avoid reporting duplicate sales. We see this all the time across the MAS program in different forms and fashions, but you've got sales under your parent contract, and now you're going to potentially have sales up under your BPA contract. Make sure you've got a method in place to keep these sales separate so that you don't duplicate your sales on both contracts, or report, or not even maybe duplicate, but report BPA sales on your MAS parent contracts. You don't want to do that either, right? Because that's just going to create more work down the road where you're going to have to go in and adjust your sales data and do some sales adjustments to get all that information correct. Then it's also going to throw off your industrial funding fee that you paid in as well. So it's a big hassle. Please just be aware of it, pay attention to it, make sure you don't duplicate your sales or report your sales under the wrong contracts. File upload is going to be the only accepted submission process for the to-get BPA program. That's probably what you're doing now under your current monthly TDR contract. It is the most popular way to upload your monthly sales. We have form entry for your parent contract. We have very few people that use that because it takes a lot of effort to type in each single line item on the screen itself. We don't have very many people who do API either. We've learned that the file upload feature is the biggest thing that's used inside of the SRP for TDR monthly upload contracts. The to-get upload template's been designed specifically for this program. So right now you're currently using the generic TDR upload template, and that's how you're uploading under your parent contract. But now what we're throwing in is the to-get template, which has columns beyond column L, where the program office has specified information they would like to see you submit under your to-get BPA. They are also the subject matter experts for any of those fields beyond column L, if you have questions in regards to that. But what we're going to talk about today, and one of the good things Don's going to demo for you all, is moving forward, once you get caught up, because you're a couple of months kind of behind right now on reporting under the to-get BPA, and we'll discuss that in just a second. But once you get the two contracts synced up, you'll be able to take your monthly parent contract and your to-get BPA contract and use the new to-get upload template, load both contracts onto it, and upload it into the system. And it's going to upload that, and then it's going to parse those two out to the correct locations where they need to go, your parent and your to-get contract. So Don's going to walk you through that process. So your to-get BPA contracts were awarded with a start date of March 31st, 2021. What that means, because these are monthly reporting contracts, that means that there are currently 2 report periods that need to be completed prior to May 30th of 2021. Your March reporting period, your contract was awarded for 1 day. I'm going to say probably 99.9%, if not 100, there's no sales. You didn't sell anything on the last day or the day that the contract was actually awarded. There is a one-click button to report 0 sales inside of the SRP, and Don's going to walk you through that process to show you how to report 0 sales. Best thing here for March, go in there and report those 0 sales, click that button, submit it, and you've got March taken care of. Now, April, that's a toss-up. You could have sales on your BPA for April, and you might not. If you don't have sales, go right back into that same one-click button and report April as well. If you do have sales, then you're going to need to take the to-get template, and you're going to need to complete that template with all your sales information, and you're going to need to process that upload for April, and then, of course, remit any IFF that might be due at that time. Once you have those 2 uploaded and reported, you're possibly in sync, but you might not be yet, because you might have 1 more month where you've got to upload your to-get as a standalone, and then the following month, then you will be able to combine the 2. It depends on if you've already reported for the time period for your parent monthly contract. So, but you'll realize that, and you'll figure out how to get them synced up. So by the end of June, you should have both your contracts synced up so that you can upload them onto one template. And again, this is what Don's going to cover, this statement in here about your monthly TDR reporting. Parent contracts can report with your BPA, and you can upload them both at the same time. So it's going to be a nice little time saver right there. So we're going to talk about the template a little bit. This template looks different. than the template that you're currently uploading on right now. This template's got 6 tabs at the bottom. And again, the people on the call now, you're a monthly TDR reporter, so you know you can't dabble around with the template. If you do, and you change anything inside of the template, then it's just going to fail to upload. But again, Don's going to walk you and do a refresher on the template. It's going to walk you through the instruction page. Please read the instruction page, especially with the new to-get template, because there's a hyperlink in there which will take you to the additional columns and what information is needed to be placed in those columns that to-get is requiring under the BPA program. So make sure you read those instructions on that new template. The second tab, of course, is the report data tab. That's where you load everything up. It's got your column headers in it, right? Remember the column headers you can't mess with, or your upload won't upload. And that's the report data tab. Now there's 4 more in there that the program office has added in just to assist you in completing some of that additional information. One is the Advantage agency data, VA station numbers, Air Force DODAX, and then your contract office codes. Those are 4 additional tabs there to help you complete that upload. Again, I know I've said this several times, and I'll say it again and again and again. Please do not alter the template in any way, or it will just fail to upload. Your to-get sales reports must be uploaded monthly. This is just like your TDR contract. Sales reports are loaded by the 30th day of each month for the previous month's sales. Save these uploads that you do. I assume you probably are already saving your TDR monthly uploads. If not, they're also saved in the system under that report month where you had that successful upload. It's that information and data saved inside the system. So you can download it if you need it, but I think Don and I both recommend you keep another copy for yourself at your office location somewhere, saved electronically after you get a successful upload. The program office has sent out the template. If you don't have it, in a lot of cases, that could be that you're not on the to-get, you're not listed as a POC on the to-get BPA. They'll address some of that at the end of the presentation too, about getting the template if you don't have it and how to reach out to them to get that template. Good news is we're going to share this template with the vendor support center. We're going to give them a clean copy and just say, hey, please hang on to this in case you get your phone calls in case somebody's done something to a template and they can't figure out what they did and now it won't upload. You can let the VSC know you're a member of the to-get BPA. You can provide them your contract number, your to-get BPA contract number, and then they in turn can turn around and email you out a clean copy of that template so that you can start over, put your information into it, and then hopefully get a successful upload. So with that, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to turn this thing over to Don Marcus. And what he's going to do is go in and show you all the things we've been talking about. He's going to walk you through those inside of the system itself so you can get a good view of what's in there. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Don.
Thank you, Derek. Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, depending on where your location is. My name is Don Marcus, and I have been with the FAS SRP before it has gone public back in 2016. So the ins and outs, I'm here to try to help you to navigate and make this as smooth as transition as possible to be able to have both your contract or even your third contract report on one extendable template. So a little bit of admin note, I'd like to let you know that there's an issue right now outside of our system bringing in the SIN number 54151BP. If that SIN has been assigned to you, Nicole will be reaching out to you after this meeting to discuss ways forward for that one particular SIN. But I just wanted to make an admin note on that ahead of time. So, as we go further into this, and we're talking about SINs, what I would like to do is I would like to show you how to check your SINs on your contract. So we're going to open up our menu. We're going to go to form entry. And what we want to do here is we want to put in our contract number. We want to validate our SIN. We come in here, we paste our our contract number, and then we put in just some data right here, press add order. So we have our products and we have a service table here. And by checking the drop down here, you will be able to check the SINs that are on your particular contract. For the 2GIT program, you should be able to have a BP on all your SINs, okay? If it doesn't, it's okay, but make sure that these SINs are identical like they are here, because if there's a space, if there's a dash, if there's anything, the validation, you could be getting error messages on your file upload. But I wanted to point this out because, you know, sometimes you think you have a SIN, or with the transfer of different SINs from old SINs to new SINs, this is the way to check. And it's important because right up here, it tells you when it is and what you're reporting for, of what SINs are on contract. So I hope that helps you along the way as we move forward. All right. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about zero sales. Okay. A lot of you know that right here, you have the capability to report zero sales right here with a one button push, or you can report the actual transactional item numbers. Okay. So as you can see right here, my reporting period, I have not reported for this particular contract here for March. I'm going to report zero sales because I didn't have any sales. This is primarily for majority. So again, all I did was put my click right here in the yes, and I'm going to submit my report. I'm going to, as you can see right here at the bottom, the yes, I can't do anything. I have to put my check mark. All this is saying that the information is as much true, as accurate as possible. Okay. And if it's not, I'm going to have to resubmit again. And it talks about OLMs. Okay. That it can't be above 33% of your contract or orders, etc. I'm not a policy person, so they provided this language to us. So the yes button has appeared. I press yes. And then it's going to give me my thank you message. And it says you successfully submitted your data. Okay. Now we go back to our home page. What I want to do now is I want to stop sharing, but my two contracts here, one ends in 01Z and the other one ends in 14Z. This is my parent. This is my 2GIT one, or vice versa. As you can see, my reporting periods are identical here. So when I go up to do a file upload, I'll be able to submit them both at the same time. If by any chance my parent and my BPA contract did not have the same reporting period, I would not be able to do that. So you can check it right here on your home screen, where to make sure that they're in the same sequence for the same reporting month. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to bring up my template. I'm going to share my template. And what I want to do here is I want to, some of the frequently issues that we found out is sometimes the report tab will be over here in the instructions, and the instructions will be over. Please make sure that the report tab is always tab number 2. Okay. And instructions is always tab number 1. We ask you not to change anything, but that will automatically throw anything off. So please do not change anything to include the sequence of your tabs. The big items I want to point out here, since you've been reporting again, here are your TDR items, but right underneath them on row 51 is a hyperlink to talk to you about the 2GIT data fields. So all you have to do is click it, it brings you over here, and it talks to you about all the different data fields you need to know in reference to your reporting of this contract, okay, for your 2GIT program. So it goes in and explains everything that you need to know here. The report tab, we're going to talk about that. As you know, we have A through L, which is your normal TDR reporting. You're mostly reporting products. So, you know, universal product code, that's an optional field. All the other fields are mandatory, okay? And then I want to talk about, the next item I want to talk about is the validation of the template. Most of you, if not all of you, have been uploading the TDR template for a while now. So there are 3 validations on this particular template. Your very first validation is the contract number and the SIN. Those are your 2 critical items on a contract because that's what's loaded onto your particular contract. So if there's a number or space in your contract number or the SINs not on your contract, your validation number 1 will fail. That's why I wanted to show you how to check your SIN number. The second validation we have is because of the SIN tells if it's a product, service, or both, okay? And if it's a product, you have all these data elements on A through L that you have to report upon, minus the UPC. If it's service, it's less. But just trying to give you the information, on why the second validation is very important. Okay, so we passed validation number 1, which is your contract number and SIN. Number 2, we have the SIN number, which tells you which fields you have to enter. And the third validation would be your quantity by price per unit by your total. If it doesn't match up correctly, it will automatically fail. Okay, so there are 3 validations as for a better user experience, a better journey along the way. You want to make sure that you can kind of like mitigate these as much as possible. So walking through the template, we have these additional data elements right here. If the system does not validate these, those are done by the program itself. Please pay attention to the first page that tells you if they're required or not. And again, the program office will tell you about these as we move forward, or as you're moving forward with the program. So they're the subject matter experts. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to close my template. What I'm going to do now is share my screen again. Go into the SRP itself. Again, since my contracts are both the same reporting period, the next reporting period I want to report for by file upload would be April. Okay. You saw that there was 2 contract numbers on there. If not, let me show you. Okay. I will stop. Give me just one quick second because I closed the template. And I want to show you that there's going to be 2 contracts on here. And as you can see right here, I have the 14Z and I have the 01Z. Okay. These are my 2 contract numbers that I have that I'm going to be uploading for. And the header is called the 2GIT dummy multiple contracts. Okay. So I will be now sharing my actual system itself. And we are going to go ahead and go into the menu. We're going to go into file upload. We're going to report for April of 2017. We're going to browse for my template. And this is the multiple contract one. Open. I'm going to upload it. Before, I want to go back. Well, let me go back again. And I apologize about this, but I want to be important to understand the history of like rejections. Okay. This has the last actions that were performed on this particular upload. Here you can find all the rejected scenarios. This was shown that you have in row 2, the SIN and CLIN is not, it's required. In addition to that rejection notice, you will get an email that states that your file upload was rejected. Okay. Those are 2 big things. On the email itself, it will not tell you what actually happened yet. In the future, that's what we're looking for. But I want to let you know it will show here for rejected, and then it will also have an email. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload for April of 2017. And I apologize to go back. I'm going to browse for my upload template, multiple contracts. I'm going to upload. Again, I'm going to click my box. My submit button appears. I'm going to press submit. And it tells you, thank you for your submission. And it can take up to an hour for a large. Okay. 1,000,000 rows can pretty much be done within a couple minutes. Okay. Just want to let you know that. But you might have other contracts to report upon, etc. So you might go into different tabs here. As you can see, it's in progress. Hit the refresh. It's been submitted. We go back to our home page. And in our homepage, it has those two contract numbers, and for April of 2017, they both have been reported, and the total outstandings that's been due. So, so far I've showed you how to validate your SINs. I walked through the report zero sales. I've walked through the template. I've done the validation of the template. I just done the file upload to include showing a rejection of what happens with a rejection. So my last item I would like to talk about would be the upload support and documentation. So we would go into the menu again. We would manage support and documentation. We would pick the particular contract that we want to go to. We would select the reporting period. So why am I doing this? This type of function is for not your TDR template, but other requirement documents like a task order given by DoD or other items that you have to provide to the program office. We made this like a filing cabinet for you and the program office. So the only individuals that can see what you're uploading is the CS and CO of that particular that are assigned on that contract, and the individuals within your office who's on the contract. So I will go back and I will show you how you can validate that, but those are the only individuals. Now, in reference to the contract number, we've picked the contract number. The only way that you can upload support and documentation is if there's been a reporting period that's been reported upon. So as you know, we did zero sales for 3/31 and we did actual sales for 4/30. What I'm going to do is pick 4/30. I'm going to select it. I am going to attach a variance report or some type of document I have into here. All right. And I'm going to say what it is I'm just going to put a tab on it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the upload key. All right. And then it says, thank you for submission. And underneath here, it tells you what was uploaded, when it was. Like I can come down here and I can delete that. It says yes. And you being the supplier, you being the uploading of the documentation, you're the only one that can delete that. Anybody on within your company that's listed on this contract can delete these items. The government can't delete them. You're the one who maintains them. Okay. So if you accidentally uploaded something, that's within your way to go ahead and remove it. Now, how can you check who's on contract? I'm going to go into my menu. I'm going to go into my program management, view contract details. I put in my contract number here. I click it. And as you can see, this is my contract information. This would be my contract side, who has access into my system or my contract. And then this is the GSA who is authorized to view it. Okay. Your IOA, your CS, your PCO, and your admin, your ACO. Right now, I believe we only have the CS and the PCO that are on your contract when you log in. The final thing I would like to show you before I turn it back over to Derek is I would like to go back to my homepage. And if I ever lose my report or if I ever have to get a file of my report, I would come in and click my hyperlink here on my homepage. And as you can see, it gives me my history of everything that I reported. Since I have documented here, I can go ahead and pull that data down. As you can see, my view button has appeared, view data, view payments. And right here, this is my data, but because we have the extendable template, we want to download the template. So what I'm going to do is right now, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to share my template. Just correct me for a second. I need to bring up the template. And this is the template that I just downloaded. It comes in just like you uploaded it. Okay, all the contract information, and that's everything we have. And on that, I'm going to turn this back over to Derek Tribble and thank you for your attention during my demonstration.
Hey, Don, thanks so much. Let me share my screen. Okay, to touch on a couple of things that Don said and Don showed during his demo that I just want to reiterate again. So once you get synced up with your 2-Git BPA contract and your parent contract, and you want to combine those two on the same 2-Git template to upload, just remember your parent contract, that's your overarching mass contract. The only columns required are A through L. You don't have to try to fill in those additional items beyond column L on your parent contract, because of course that's not required by your parent contract. But those items are for your 2-Git BPA. So on those items, then yes, you will load that information out beyond column L on there, and the template knows that. I mean, it knows what it's looking for. It validates all the way through L. So those are the mandatory TDR fields anyways out through L. So it's going to check all that information. So just remember that. And then, of course, the one-click button feature to report 0 sales to hopefully get you caught up, get you synced up with your parent contract, so then you can combine the two on the template. So just I want to just stress a couple of those things as Don went through that demo. So sales adjustments. You're currently monthly reporting contracts. You hopefully know exactly how the adjust sales file upload feature works. If not, if you do, great. If not, we're going to cover it here so you do know. Sales adjustments have to process as a change to the original file upload. When you go in and do that, adjust sales file upload is changing the original file. Do not submit delta changes when you do this. It's a complete overwrite of the system. So remember that. If you're going in and you do need to make sales adjustments for whatever reason, you need to make sure you're basically re-reporting everything and doing that correctly. Based on an increase or a decrease in your sales, whatever that might be, it's just an overwrite. It's not the delta changes. If you report $100,000 and you need to report 10,000 more because you forgot an order, then your new upload is going to be $110,000 because it includes everything you originally loaded and what you had failed to load the first time or failed to remove the first time if it's going the other direction. Just make sure you're aware of that, because that'll run into just more problems of trying to get all that information straightened out. But if you've been in and you've been monthly reporting, you probably already understand this. Last thing I want to talk about is payments, and you're already in the system monthly now, so you're aware of how to make payments through pay.gov. I like to bring this up when we do talk with industry, because I want to make sure everybody knows the different ways you can pay inside of the system, because two of them are not very visible. So want to just cover all of them while we're here. Credit cards, you can pay by credit card. There's a limit, it's $24,999 per day per card per contract. You can't split those payments. System won't allow you to split those payments through pay.gov. When you go in to pay that, it rolls that sum of IFF up, and you have to pay that amount. If it's over that $24,999, it'll reject your credit card and won't accept it. Now, the weird thing is it does take debit cards, and the selection is the same as credit cards. So if your company for some reason has a company debit card now, there's no limit on that. You go in, you go to pay.gov, or you click the pay button through the FAS SRP, it routes you over to pay.gov. You select credit card, but you enter your debit card number. System picks that up and realizes it, doesn't cap your limit, lets you spend $50,000, $60,000 off of that, whatever the case might be if your IFF is that high. And lets the system process it, and it processes through. Not something everybody knows, and we can't separate it out. We actually talked to them about trying to separate out credit card and debit card and say that there's no limit, but we can't do it with pay.gov. It doesn't allow us to split those into two like radio buttons to click to select. ACH payments, these are typically your higher IFF payments. There's no limit on those. Some people like it, some people don't. This is where the government comes and pulls money out of your account. There's a particular day they'll come in and grab it, and they'll take that money out. Some companies don't like that, so they don't like to use ACH. We do have an alternative to that, and we'll talk about that in just a second. The other method we have is PayPal. I don't think this gets utilized very often, but we do have this available in pay.gov. It's $10,000 per day per contract limit, but just know it's there. You can use it if you want to. The alternative to ACH is REX. We have a program called REX. It has no limit, functions like your bill pay that you use in your own personal life, to where you go in and to your own bank account and say you've got your electricity bill set up to where you want to pay it through bill pay. You go in, you plug in $200 and you pick the day you want to pay that, and then you click the pay button. And on that day, your bank pushes that money out of your account and sends it over to the electric company to pay your electric bill. This is how REX works. It allows you to dictate the amount of money in the day the bill's paid, and that you push that money out of your account. So if you're interested in REX, please send over an email to FAS, which is FAS SRP @gsa.gov. Let me know you're interested. And what I'll do is I'll send that over to I'll send you a package out, which will contain some POC information for some people in our finance department, and they'll assist you in getting that set up so you can pay IFF via REX instead of ACH or whatever method you're paying it out if you'd like to use that. Payments can't be combined between the parent contract and the BPA contract. Each of these contracts is a standalone contract. So even though you can put your sales onto one template to upload, once that upload goes into the SRP, it takes that and it splits it back out, and it puts the correct sales on your parent contract and the correct sales on your BPA contract. That's why you have to list the contract number in there. So payments are the same way. You can't combine the payments. You have to make IFF payments on your parent and IFF payments on your BPA. Now, since you're all are monthly contractors, you already know what we're fixing to talk about right now, which is you have the option to pay monthly, but you have to pay quarterly. Still available under your BPA program. For ToGet, you can report those sales on a monthly basis. You can make monthly IFF payments if you like. If not, you have to make those payments on a quarterly basis. Oh, sorry. So last thing I want to cover is who do you contact and for what reason. If you have general questions about the FAS SRP itself, and I mean general questions like, hey, I got some POC issues, I can't see my contract, things like that, right? FAS SRP @gsa.gov is where you want to go. That'll come over to me and some other people, and we will either answer the question or push it in the direction that it might need to go in if we get a question along those lines. Now, if you're having a technical issue, like a template upload issue, say you've tried and your template keeps rejecting, you can't figure out why. It's going to give you the error message Don showed you, right, where it says rejected. It's got a little information window. You click on that little window beside the rejected upload, and it shows you by row or by line what rejected when you tried to upload it. But if for some reason you just cannot get that figured out, vendor support center need to send you over there. Take some screenshots. It's always best to have screenshots so they can see what you're looking at. Reach out via email or by phone. Let them know what the problem is. If they can't, they're a tier 1 level. So if they can't correct that, they're going to route that up to a tier 2, which will go directly into the FAS SRP technical team. And then they, at that time, will dig into that problem, figure out what it is, and you will be contacted either back by the VSC or directly by FAS SRP if we need some additional information. Their technical support will reach back out. You're already uploading monthly, so you understand how the process works. So there's probably no need for you to go and check out the web-based training, but so you're aware, there is web-based training located on the FAS SRP homepage under the help section, which is up in the top right-hand corner. And you can view some, how do you report sales? How do you do sales adjustments? Things of that nature, right? All that stuff's loaded in there, little short tutorials you can watch. Since everybody here already has a monthly contract, you understand how the file upload system probably working. So it's probably not a big need to go watch that. So we had a meeting. That's kind of all for the presentation. I want to talk a little bit now towards some of the things we saw from the first meeting. We had a meeting on Tuesday. And one of the biggest things for the same group of people, right, the monthly reporters that now have the ToGet, one of the biggest things from that meeting that came out was people not being on the ToGet BPA contract. So the way this should work is right now, if you feel you're a POC on the ToGet BPA contract, or you should be a POC on the ToGet BPA contract, you should be at this point able to log into the FAS SRP and see your parent monthly mass contract and now your to get BPA contract. If you don't, 99.5% chance is you're not loaded on the to get BPA contract. So what I need for you to do when we get off of this presentation here, please go log into the SRP and check that out. If you're not on there, I need you to reach out to the email address on your screen, fassrp@gsa.gov. I need you to include your parent contract number. I need you to include your BPA contract number, and then let me know what's going on. Hey, my name's Joe, and I should be on this contract. Here's my first, last name, and here's my email address. I'm on my parent contract, but I don't see the to get contract. I have a way to go into the system, and there's a couple of locations where I can add a POC onto the contract in a short amount of time, right? Just so that you can see this contract. So if you go in there after this and you see it and you're not there, reach out to me. And it typically is going to be a 24-hour turnaround. Basically means if I load it today, you'll see it tomorrow. So if I were to respond back to you and say, hey, got you loaded onto the 2 gig contract, be expecting for that to show up tomorrow. If it's Friday, then look on Monday, and you should be able to see your information on there, and that 2 gig contract pop up in your screen. Now, we did have a question in regards to, and I'm going to read out some of the questions in here. There's been 3 questions so far. The first one I answered, but I'm going to go over it again. Will we be able to listen to this recording after the call? Immediately after? No. But we are going to put this, we're going to package this together. We're going to put the slides together along with the recording. And then we're going to send that information out along with the Q&A, the answers to the Q&A, which there's not that many, so we'll talk through them. But based on you being here and registering, we have your email address. So once Robin, who's the host, packages all this up and provides it to us, we'll make sure all those questions are answered, and then we, meaning Don, Marcus, and myself, will send this over to the program office, to Nicole and her group of people over there, and then they will send this information out to you all so that you have it, so that you can watch this video at a later time if you'd like to. So that kind of answers that question. I did type that answer in, but now what we're going to do is we'll go through, there's 3 questions, and we do have a few minutes, so we'll go through, read those off, and then either I can answer or the program office can answer based upon the question itself. So the first one is, as a team member, are we supposed to submit sales reports individually, even if we are quoting with CTA team lead BLIN number? And I'm going to turn that over to the program office to answer that one, probably Patrick. Patrick on?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Can you see it in there, Nicole, the question? It's the first one from Martin.
I'm not even seeing the question.
Okay. It says, as a team member, are we supposed to submit sales reports individually, even if we are quoting with CTA team lead BLIN number?
So I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually understand the question, but what I will say is every CTA team member, regardless of what team they're on, or if they are on under multiple teams, you received your own BPA number. You also received a unique set of blend numbers. So BLIN is a BPA line item number. So you would have received a unique blend. So if you're on team DH, you would have had a set of 4 BPA line item numbers. And then if you were under, say, team PCMG, you would have had a different set of BPA line item numbers. If you are quoting and you awarded it under, say, a widget, IT widget under team DH BPA line item number, and they have blend numbers 1 through, let's say, 5, you would report that under that BPA line item number. the one that applies. You wouldn't report it under both. And the reason why you wouldn't report it under both is because you're not going to be paying under both. You wouldn't double report it. It depends on which team you awarded it under. Do you get what I guess I don't know if they understood what I'm saying it, but you can reply in the chat if you understood that part.
Yeah, and if you didn't, and if you didn't, and you need more detail on that, of course, you can always reach out to Nicole in the program office over there for additional guidance in regards to that, Martin. So hopefully that gets you the answer you need. Sarah asked a question: is it correct that sales under 2 GID should use SINs that end with BP? And yes, that is correct, Sarah. Those SIN numbers that are going to be assigned to the BP contract will have a suffix of BP. There might actually be some additional letters in, like in S, as for an example, you might have an SBP, but they will all contain a BP at the end of them. Okay, got a question from David. Can you report parent and BPA contract uploads separately? Then you could pay them both once a quarter. David, yeah, you can. Under the 2 GID BPA, with your mass parent being monthly, you have the option to combine them together. If you do not choose to combine them together, you still can use the standard template to upload your sales on a monthly basis for your parent contract. You can use the 2 GID BPA template to upload your monthly sales for your BPA contract. And then again, you have the option on both of those contracts to pay IFF monthly or to pay IFF, and you have to pay IFF quarterly, but you have the option on both of those to pay monthly if you want to go along that route. That's totally up to you. But we feel it's a time saver if you put both of the upload reports onto just one template, but it's totally your option. You can do either way. And is this similar as, it is similar as TDR reporting? Yeah, Martin, it's definitely similar to the same as TDR reporting for the uploading of this information. That's all. Does anybody have any additional questions? I don't see anything else in here. We'll give you a second to answer that. And as we do that, I'll reiterate one more time, please, when we get off of here, make sure you're listed on the contract. If not, reach out. And Don Marcus and I will start addressing those and making sure your POC information gets added so you have visibility into those contracts. And the last thing, again, is going in and once you do have access, taking care of March, taking care of April, and making sure those 2 report periods have been reported as 0 or your sales have been uploaded for those. Just under a little bit of a time crunch in regards to that, but not too much. Now, there's one other question from anonymous attendee that I'm gonna have to kick back over to the program office. It says only team leads have unique line item, quote, line item reference numbers. As a team member, how do we report on an order direct from a government agency to member BPA number? Did you get that, Nicole?
I'm unmuting that. That is not exactly correct. When you received your BPA award, I'm trying to hurry up and go to one really quickly. So give me 1 second. When you received your BPA award, it would have had what your BPA line item number is, because even in your discount rate structure instructions tab, it tells you when you quote, you are to use your BPA line item number. And so everybody has a BPA line item number. So there are only 9 sets of unique BPA line item numbers, and those are for the 9 BPA team leads. So if you're under that specific team, it gave you what your BPA line item number was. So for instance, under Team DH Technologies, they have BPA line item number 0001 through 0005. 0001 is data center, 0002 is end user, 0003 is network connect, 0004 is radio equipment, and 0005 will be OLM. Like in my previous example, I had mentioned PCMG. So PCMG has 0026 through 0030. If you look at your BPA award document, you should see what BPA line item numbers you actually received for your award. And that's why in my previous answer, I said that you should reference the BPA line item number that you awarded them under. So you might have awarded, you might have gotten awards under Team DH for a few orders, and then you might have gotten awards under Team PCMG for a few orders. That is how you would report it, and under those specific line item numbers. And give me 1 second, I'll tell you what page to look at for your actual award. So I'm just gonna pull up someone's actual award so I can go to the page number. You should see them popping up on page, all right, so page 6 of your BPA award document will state what teams you received an award under. Starting on page 7, you should see what the unique BPA line item numbers are. All of those line item numbers apply to you under that CTA team award. Those are not just for the BPA team lead. They apply to you as well. So if that specific question, if you have any additional questions, you can just email it at togetquoters@gsa.gov so I can pinpoint your specific contract and highlight for you and tell you what page and where to look so you can find your specific BPA line item numbers. In addition, you should see that same information in your discount rate tab. It is in the general tab, which is the first tab all the way to the left. It will state what the BPA line item numbers are, and it mirrors the actual BPA document that references the line items. And then at the very bottom, it will tell you what you need to do with those specific BPA line item numbers.
Okay, Nicole, thank you. That's great. Yeah, and as Nicole said, if you've got any more specific information in regards to that, email out to the address you just provided, and that way they can take a deeper dive into it and respond back out accordingly. We've got a couple more questions we'll hit real quick. Email address above to get put on BPA contracts. David asked a question. David, you should still be looking at the screen. And FAS SRP@gsa.gov. That's going to be where you need to send that email if you, for some reason, are not showing up on that contract and you feel you should be. So make sure you send me the parent contract number, the BPA contract number, and the information, email address, name, and kind of what's going on. And then I'll dig into that and take a look at it and see if we can get you added on there. Would you be able, and Michelle's asking, would you be able to report 0 sales for us if our access is not yet available due to POC issues? No, ma'am. That's one of the things about the SRP. It's you own and control your own information, and it's very transparent between the government and the contractor, and we cannot go in and actually report those 0 sales. But if you're not showing up on there, then hopefully you'll be able to take a look at that right after this and reach out to us if you're not, and then we can go ahead and get you added real quick. And if I can get you added today, then you'll show up on there tomorrow. Can you clarify the suffix needed for sends regarding to get? The sends are just, the suffix on those sends is going to have a BP added to them, which is just per BPA. That's the reason they'll have a BP added to the end of them. There might be an additional alpha character or multiple alpha characters, but within that string of those characters, there should be a BP. It'll either have your SIN, BP, and then the additional alpha characters, or it's going to have your SIN, the alpha characters, and then a BP beyond that. But you will see a BP in that suffix information. Okay, Sarah, we're going to get you to reach out directly in regards to that. Since that's a more specific question in regard to the program itself, just send that question right there if you don't mind. Send that over to the address Nicole provided earlier, the email address, and then the team can address that. Yeah, and then anonymous attendee, you're going to need to send that one again directly over to Nicole. I think the ToGet program office is going to need to dig into some of those questions to provide those specific answers. I don't see any more generic style questions in regards to the SRP or anything that we covered for sales reporting, getting onto the contract or anything along those lines. So, okay, so we're going to no, there's a question here. If we were to add BP on the part number, would that suffice, or is it specific to the SIN? It's specific to the SIN. The BP does not need to be added to the part number. It has nothing to do with the part number. The BP, so you've got a parent contract that has your standard SIN numbers on it, right? Maybe let's use the 54151 as an example. This contract, your ToGet BPA contract is going to have SIN numbers on it like your parent contract. It's just going to have a suffix at the end of it, and it could be different suffixes. You could have a 541 or a 54151 BP, and that could be a SIN number in itself. You could have a 54151 SBP, and that is a SIN number in itself. Or you could have a 54151 ECOM BP. So, but all of these SINs on these BPA contracts are going to have a BP at the end of them. And that's why Don, during the demo, had you go into the form entry and just enter like you're going to do an entry for a task order inside the form entry, so that it'll pull up the product section and you can click that drop down for SIN. And then that's going to show you all the SINs that are assigned to your specific BPA contract, and all of those SINs are going to have a BP at the end of them because it's a BPA contract, and that's just from GSA. That's just what we do. It's like your normal contract. Your parent contract doesn't have SINs with a BP at the end of it. It's just a separate contract. So yeah, so it's going to be on the SIN number. So if that answered your question. And that's all. I don't have any additional questions. We are pretty much rolling up at time. Again, if you do have specific questions in regards to your BPA, reach out to the address that Nicole provided earlier to get those questions answered. If you have something system related, you have the information still showing on your screen, and then we'll get all the slides and all that information out probably within the next I'd say within the next 2 weeks. We'll probably get all this wrapped up middle of next week and then packaged up, sent over to the program office, and then they'll have the email addresses for the attendees, and they can send out the presentations and the recordings and the Q&A and things of that nature. So thank you so much for attending. Hope everybody has a wonderful day and have a great long weekend. Thank you so much.